It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
Okay, this is probably one of the most interesting shows we'll ever do here at the Rogue Media Network. I am coming to you right now from my new job. I actually work at a desk at United here at the Lubbock International Airport. I am in like the west side, I don't know west from east, but one part of the Lubbock Airport where there are no people. And it looks like they have shut down the gates. This is gate 2. Down at that end of the airport was where I just missed my flight. And they closed the door on me. And in truth, it's my fault, right? Like I was pushing it with getting here. But I got here 45 minutes in advance of my flight. Basketball game last night, Oral Roberts and Texas Tech. We'll get to that momentarily. But I got here about 45 minutes before my flight, and it was like crazy. Security, I've flown out of here with like 20 minutes to spare, but security was totally backed up. Everybody's got a job to do. What are you going to do? Yeah, it's just not my day. It's my turn. So I missed my flight. I'm trying to get on. Then I try to get a rental car to drive back to Dallas where I was going to do this show. I was actually going to stop somewhere on the way to record it. And then it was brought to my attention that there were no rent-a-cars at all at any of the Lubbock rental car outlets here at the airport. So here I am. I'm doing the show from what feels like the morning after, right? Like some kind of crazy attack, because it does feel like I'm the only person over here. I asked the folks at the airport if I could go down here, and they said yes. I didn't want to go in the business section because people actually go in there. I'm telling you, look, nobody is here. Okay. This is like my side of the airport. Hold on, I'll give you one more look. That's like down towards the other side. So yeah, so it's just me. Am I pissed that I missed my flight? Yeah. Who do I have to blame? This guy. So anyways, we're looking forward. We're going to try to talk to Jordan Neighbors about the Big 12 football and basketball. Josh Neighbors. I always call him Jordan because he was a wide receiver at Baylor. We may lose that Josh Neighbors opportunity with all this travel flux. I'm trying to get on another flight, but what are you going to do? Right? Life happens. And ultimately, I'm accountable. You know, we were in line, and this woman before me, who became clear was in the same boat as myself, she turned to someone and she said, well, isn't this ridiculous? You would think that they would have more people working at TSA, because we were totally backed up. And I wanted to be like, lady, you're scared right now because you think you're going to miss your flight. And that's why you're projecting and putting it on the TSA people. You should have gotten here earlier. It's always on us. I'm sorry. It's not the TSA people. So anyways, and it's certainly not the people at Disney Travel who are trying to help me out get a rent-a-car. No rent-a-cars. So I showed up at gate 5. The door had just closed. I must have missed it by like 2 minutes, and nobody was there. So I was like banging on the door, banging. And finally, like 5 minutes later, these 2 women came out, and I was like, is it my lucky day? They said, no, it is not your lucky day. So here I am doing the Pete Sousa show, presented by Slovacic still, as you see up in the corner of your screen. I am doing it from the Lubbock Airport right now. And in Lubbock for a Texas Tech game last night. They played Oral Roberts. Texas Tech is a good basketball team. They're without one of their best big men, one of the best big men in the conference, a transfer from the Mountain West Conference, he was Mountain West Player of the Year last year, JT Toppin. He's hurt. He's got a lower leg injury. It happened in practice. All accounts are he'll be fine and ready to go in the Big 12. Texas Tech has one more game until they take on their Big 12 schedule. This is the time of year now. And by the way, talking to a lot of coaches, and right now we're going to talk primarily basketball because it's fresh on my mind. And it's not like I'm working with a wealth of notes here, because, we're in a bit of a pickle this morning. But I can tell you stuff that nobody else can tell you, a unique perspective last night on Texas Tech, their basketball team, and also Big 12 basketball, just getting ready for the game. JT Toppin, like I said, will probably be back for the Big 12 schedule. If you look at a team like Texas Tech, they lost a lot of guys. They lost Joe Toussaint, a West Virginia transfer who played last year at Texas Tech. They lost Pop Isaacs. Joe Toussaint graduated and is done out of eligibility. Pop Isaacs transferred to Creighton. He was one of the guys early in his career as a freshman. He got hurt a bunch, but I was like, this guy's probably the best freshman in the Big 12. I remember Brendan Manzer, who I do games with. He was like, yeah, he's one of the best freshmen in the Big 12. Last year, he got into a little bit of trouble. I don't think he missed any time, but it put a little bit of a damper on his whole season. And his ability to play free and let go. But he was still an alpha, and he wasn't afraid to take any big shots. Joe Toussaint was the same way, total alpha, not afraid to take any big shots. Pop could fly to the basket. Maybe he could work here at gate 2, right? Can you believe I'm doing this? So anyways, Pop Isaacs is gone. Joe Toussaint is gone, but they got guys like Toppin. They still have Chance McMillan, a freshman I saw last night. Christian Anderson was very good. They got this a kid who transferred from Pitt, Frederico. Like, remember this guy's name. Talking to Grant McCaslin about Frederico before the game, he mentioned as much that this is a guy. The guy's probably 6'10", 6'11". from the South Sudan, and again transfer from Pitt. He has this amazing know-how around the basket, like with 5 seconds on the shot clock, which where a lot of people panic, especially people playing together for the first time in the transfer portal era. No, he's not panicking. He's a big man. He calls for the ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock, knows the defense will collapse on him, snaps it out to a teammate, and that teammate is able to make a three. And I was like, wow. And you look at guys like this, and it's no wonder they're playing for a coach like Grant McCasland. Grant McCasland, I didn't want to say it on the broadcast last night because that's like an ESPN vehicle, and I don't want to make it like hot takey. But I turned to King during a timeout, King McClure, who I called the game with, and I said, King, he's going to win a national championship. Grant McCasland will. First of all, everywhere he's gone, he has won. At the junior college level, he won a championship. At UNT, he turned that program around. Texas Tech, his first year last year, people were like totally mesmerized with his success. They were ranked for a good portion of the year playing in the best conference in college basketball. Grant McCasland is the kind of guy who you look at and you think, okay, what is so special about him? And I can tell you from talking to him, I've done now 4 or 5 of his games. So I've had like 5 visits with him. And you get to know a lot of these coaches. And one of the most special things about them, the ones who are real good, and a lot of them understand this is part of the job, is the psychology of the game and the ability to get to know these guys, get to know who they are, get to know what makes them tick, and to know how to motivate them. I mean, I remember as a kid, my mom telling me, or somebody around the Villanova basketball program telling me that Rolly Massimino, he did not coach every player the same way. And I was like, well, that's weird. You know, wouldn't you, if you were another player, get upset if you saw a coach coaching you? No, as people, guys, I think we can all relate. We're also self-involved. We don't even realize that these coaches are, and it's not manipulation, it's persuasion. It's help to get the best out of you. And I think the psychology in coaching to know that, hey, Pete Sousa, he's going to need a little bit of love, right? We're going to have to show Pete a lot of love, get him on the right track, and get his confidence going. And then there are times where it's a great example. Talking to Coach McCasland yesterday about a player that, you know, sometimes if you have success, I know for me, I really struggled when I started to get recruited to play college football, and it was clear that like I was probably going to get a scholarship. I mean, as an 18-year-old, I was out to lunch. I mean, you want to talk about, I put my feet up, phone's ringing. Somebody got it. Lubbock International Airport. So no, but I the moment something fortuitous happened to me, I would take a victory lap, and I needed coaches to put my nose to the grindstone to tell me, hey, dude, like you have done nothing. You need to continue to grind. You need to understand that your way is, you have so much more to do, right? And I think that's something that Coach McCasland and the great ones understand. You do have coaches or players, right, that you're going to love on, but you also have other guys who you have to be hard on them to get the most out of them. And again, I think we're so self-involved, we don't even realize that. Another thing too that I gleaned from this trip was you should always get to your airport an hour early, even if it's in a smaller airport like Lubbock International. But no, you should always. What was I thinking? Oh no. So coaching trees, right? We had an opportunity. I called the game, like I mentioned, with King. He played at Baylor. They put up a picture last night, the broadcast, during the broadcast they did, and they showed all of the coaches from the Scott Drew coaching tree. It's amazing. I mean, you got Jerome Tang, Kansas State, Paul Mills, right now at Wichita State. John Jacobs is the head coach at FIU. We talked about Grant McCasland at Texas Tech. And of course, Scott Drew just being Scott Drew. And another guy was on the bench at Oral Roberts. A guy named Sam Patterson was a video coordinator at Baylor for Scott Drew. And now he's the first assistant at Oral Roberts. You know, a lot of times I take these trips too. And the reality is we all want to be sort of rose-colored glasses about what's going on with college basketball and about how we're doing as far as I got a TSA agent. Yeah, I'm good. They said I could be here. It's a TSA. You don't want to mess around with them. Trust me, I have nothing but the utmost respect. Yeah, no, it's okay. They said I could take over this wing of the of the airport. No, what you realize, and we try not to cover it much because we want to, when we're calling the games play by play. This is now to the players and some of the topics that I always end up talking about with some of my teammates at ESPN and some of the coaches and players. Players don't talk about this, and coaches are remiss to talk about it, really, especially on a public level. But the money that is involved now, it's scary. It is so scary what players are commanding. You could say what they deserve, right? And what they're getting. And, I talked to a guy like King, who was, by the way, King McClure. Like, yeah, you know him now as a great analyst. At Baylor, he was a great player. He played something like 130 games. I mean, he was a stalwart every game, every night in the Big 12. He was going to give it to you. He was going to play defense. He was going to score when he could. There were so many things he did well. And prior to that, he was recruited by everybody in the country. Kansas banging down his door, North Carolina, Texas, Baylor, of course. And, he probably, you have an honest conversation with him. And also I was just drilling him. That's a guy who probably could have gotten $500,000 a year, $500,000 a year to play college basketball. And here is a guy, by the way, King McClure, a very bright guy, from all counts, from a real good family with a good head on his shoulders, who it's not like he would have taken that. By the way, somebody earns $500,000. They do whatever they want with it. It's their money. They earned it. But a guy like King could have left college with $1 point something million. And instead, he's going to be one of the players, deservedly so, deservedly more so now when you see what other guys currently playing are getting. But they'll walk away with upwards of $100,000. A lot of these players on the back of this settlement that is being made, right, with the United States government, I think, and the NCAA. I don't want to get too deep into stuff that I don't know about, but that's a situation where it's just a shame. It's the same. I guess it's the same as Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley looking at Victor Wembanyama, or even some of the guys that are middling players here in the NBA, and just to see how much they're getting paid. And it's like, whew, it's the same thing. When I used to spot for my buddy Matt Devlin, Glenn Mason, who was a big time coach at Kansas and ultimately Minnesota. He was like, Minnesota was good every year. And as we know, Minnesota, it's a tough football program to be consistently good there. But by the time Coach Mason had retired, he probably retired in like the mid 2000s, maybe late, like 2008, 2009. I know he had other coaching offers when he was working in TV. I think he still does, but he was doing stuff for the Big Ten Network. And he was always he was whimsical about money he could have made, or wistful. Wistful is the word. All right. He was wistful about the potential money that he could have made coaching in today's college football, when you see offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators at Power 5 schools making upwards of $1 million. And it's just changed. And I said to King yesterday, not like I'm this prophet, but I was like, well, King, look at it this way, dude. Like, you are sitting here in the world of broadcasting. You're basically a star, and you obviously have a good career. Think about all the guys, because it gets worse, right? Think about all the guys that don't have a career now, that don't want to play overseas anymore because they go over there, they don't like the culture, they don't like the food. I mean, and now they're just kind of floating. They're not sure what they should do. But that guy now that's floating, if he had played present day as opposed to 15 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago, he would have some options, right? Things are changing fast and furious. I saw the Nick Saban tweet yesterday. I would urge everyone to look it up. Again, I don't have quite the tools right here to get going with that, but I would urge anybody just to look that up and to see exactly what Nick Saban said about. There's an Alabama freshman cornerback who I think he was a 5-star and who played this year for Alabama and was not in the transfer portal, and was given $1 million to go play somewhere else. and he's leaving to go play. And it's not on the kids. But that is like, and Nick Saban illustrated this in his tweet. This is tampering at the utmost degree. It's the worst form of tampering you could ever see, because it's with these young men, and a lot of times it's being done below deck. And we got to get some rules going. And I'm sure the NCAA is working on that. But right now, it is literally, and I'm convinced about this, this is as bad as it will get in college sports. Sitting here in the Lubbock International Airport at Gate 2, which is no longer utilized here. Smoking is prohibited in designated areas, I just heard. But I think this is as bad as it'll get with the transfer portal. And I would hope that this is as bad as it'll get for me, having to work a transition game of myself. But this is what I do to get paid, right? Because I love the Rogue Media Network. I love Slovacics. And I love being able to do this, man. I was pumped to get on here today. I'm going to try to figure out exactly what we're going to do with Jordan or Josh Neighbors. So I'll figure that out. But this is going to be the end of segment 1. And now we're going to turn it over to segment 2. All right. We're going to figure out what we're going to talk about during segment 2. But yeah, live from the Lubbock Airport, Pete Sousa Show rolls on after this.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Sports.
Pete Sousa. This is the Pete Sousa Show, and we are live at the Lubbock International Airport. Not sure what's international about it, but I know the people here that work for TSA are awesome because they told me that I could do a show here, and here we are. We are at Gate 2, one of my favorite numbers of all time, and of course, this is a very good reason as to why, because it's lucky. This morning I was probably, you could say unlucky, but honestly, you got to own it, man. I got to the airport 40 minutes before my flight left, and wow, there were a lot of people here, and it felt like everyone was just a little overwhelmed. So we're making the best of a situation. It is the holiday season, and I would like to talk about a big gift that Baylor football fans just got. How about this? 19 minutes ago, Baylor football recruiting, I'm just go with them because that's what I'm reading. Baylor has landed former Alabama wide receiver, Kobe Prentice. Prentice is a former 4-star, took his official visit yesterday, and he committed. Now, as I sit here in the Lubbock International Airport, home of Sawyer Robertson, I'm sure he has walked through this lovely airport before, and he is one of now the premier quarterbacks in college football. I will say that. And to me, a commitment from a guy like Kobe Prentice, I think, speaks to the fact that Sawyer Robertson is more than likely committed to stay at Baylor, as well as is Josh Cameron, as is Bryson Washington. It's like, dude, get excited for Baylor football. This is a special time. The team is coming off an amazing 8-win season, trying to make it 9 on December 31st. That will be the Texas Bowl. And I get to actually do radio that same morning for John Morris. I have a college basketball game the 30th in Tucson, and then I'm going to hustle home so I can do radio for Baylor basketball on New Year's Eve when they open the Big 12 against Utah, because J-Mo will be at the Baylor Bowl game calling it. So I luck out because J-Mo's a busy guy. But Baylor has an opportunity at a 9-win season. And just to crystallize or give context to this, a lot of you know who you are. You know who you are. You wanted Dave Aranda to get fired, and you were wrong. And I sort of feel like, this is when I think people are just weird, right? When I see people now cheering for Baylor, that's you, Scotty Swingler, that's you, Cam Stewart, and you too, Matt Mosley. These are 3 guys who were very unhappy, to say the least, with Dave Aranda. Probably a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. A month and a half ago, we'll say. I just got a text from Mosley. Maybe he is God, that's weird. Anyways, and understandably, right? Like, I get it. Baylor felt like in free fall. But people ask me all the time, and I don't know a whole lot, but I did feel like Baylor was going to turn it around because I knew they had the players. And I truly believe Dave Aranda is a great football coach and communicates and gets through to guys. He's so different, but yet he still has the ability to recruit such great players. Like, there's something to that. And then when you talk about his coaching, his X's and O's, yeah, coaches make mistakes, but he doesn't make that many. He did an amazing job this year, going back to what he knew, which was coaching defense. And ultimately it worked out, and it didn't happen right away. Like, by the way, welcome to life. We want changes right away. And Baylor fans can say, well, we were kind of feeling the pain from Dave Aranda. And I get it. Like, that's why the word is fan. It's short for fanatic, right? If we didn't have fanatical fans, we wouldn't have sports the way that we have, which is really good. But people were calling for Dave Aranda to lose his job, and like how quickly the tide turns, right? Now we're flirting with a 9-win season, And we're not flirting with. The romance is on with guys like Kobe Prentice. And a signing of this magnitude lets you know, or lets me know at least, that Sawyer Robertson, who, by the way, our interview with Sawyer will be up here later this week or early next week on the Rogue Media Network. Our friends at GXG are getting that out there, and we have a ton of great stuff to come with GXG and the Rogue Media Network. But it's super exciting. The fact of the matter is that Sawyer Robertson staying put, I believe this is a sign of that, because you have amazing players now wanting to join the party, wanting to be a part of what is special here going on at Baylor. And if you remember, because if you go back to the first segment, right, what did we talk about? We talked about money, and we talked about college players. And we go back to August, or maybe it was late July at that point, and Baylor football camp opens up, and the shirt, right? It doesn't say Water Street, which is a tribute to my pop, by the way. This is an awesome shirt. Thank you, Mike Sousa. I'll tell you the story about the shirt someday. I don't want to get off track now. But remember the shirt that said, "We pay players." And that was a brilliant move, if you think about it. And I don't even know that it was that thought out, but it sort of put word on the street like, hey, yeah, this is Baylor. These are the Baptists. We do the next right thing. But hey, we also understand how to make money and how to have success. And that's by spending some money. And Baylor's looking to do that. And they already have this offseason, obviously. And they're probably going to have to do some more to keep everybody happy. But it's nice to see things seem to be headed in the right direction. All right. Speaking of college football, guys, I have a wonderful significant other, right? And I think she thinks I'm a great guy. After this weekend, I don't know how she's going to feel about me. And let me tell you why, okay? Not only do we have NFL games on Saturday, but the college football playoff kicks off Friday night. Notre Dame is at home against Indiana, and that is a ABC football game, a 7 p.m. start, okay? The following morning now, folks in Texas, 11 a.m., SMU and Penn State. I'll go deeper into these matchups shortly. And then on Saturday, later on in the day, part of the threefer, a triple header on Saturday, you have Clemson and Texas, obviously in Austin. And then the nightcap, it's going to be cold in Columbus, Tennessee at Ohio State. That game at 7 o'clock. Now, let's go through some of these matchups. Talking last night to King, right, who I worked the game with, and Beth Chappell was our producer. She's like a historically amazing producer and coordinating producer with ESPN. And now she's back doing all kinds of different things in the broadcasting world. But King and Beth, and I don't want to put them out there as like Alabama fans, but they were like, hey, it would have been nice to have seen Alabama make the playoff. Alabama will not make the playoff, or obviously did not make the playoff, but SMU has an opportunity on Saturday to stick it up everybody's ass. They do, right? Now they go into Penn State. They're an 8.5-point underdog. This is the college football playoff. This is Happy Valley. This is cold weather. Lucky for them, though, it will be an early game. If the sunlight is shining, that cuts through a lot of the chill, right? It's not a night game, but they are an 8.5-point underdog. Now, we will find out just how much talent was acquired in the offseason by the big money donors over there in Highland Park. We're going to find out. And it's going to be pretty exciting to see an 8.5-point spread. I believe Penn State, and I don't love Penn State, but I think they'll beat SMU like a drum. I think there's a lot going on here for SMU where it's just like, I think the culture of SMU football has just arrived at the party, where the culture of Penn State football, I mean, they damn near started the party. They planted the first keg. If we're talking about the college football of my life, back in the 70s with Joe Paterno. There's a rich tradition there that I feel like the know-how and playing at home in Happy Valley can push. I mean, that spread right there at home, they say you get like 3 points now or whatever, and then the 5.5 on top of it, Penn State just being a better team. I think that 9-point or 8.5-point spread is nothing. I think that Penn State should dominate that game. But as we get closer and closer now, I'm starting to feel the excitement, right? Let's go backwards now. That night game, Indiana and Notre Dame. I have a feeling, you just get the Freeman extension, right? At Notre Dame. I feel like that. I feel like that almost is worse for Notre Dame. I feel like that sets up for, oh, we're all feeling good. Our coach is extended. He's staying with us. We're playing Indiana. Indiana is not afraid, right? And they know a lot about playing in these conditions against teams like Notre Dame. I mean, these are two tough teams. And I don't think Indiana's going to blink. And they already got hit in the mouth at Ohio State earlier this year. So they've, and this goes against what I was saying with SMU. I feel like there is a little bit more of that grit with Indiana. And I think we may see that against Penn State on Saturday night. And I think we may, and look, I'm telling you, I think we could quite possibly see an upset in that game. Moving later on, Clemson and Texas. Texas is an 11.5-point favorite. Wow. That's a lot of points. Now, I always speak to the fact that these guys know exactly what they're doing, the folks, the odds makers, right? Yesterday was a great example, that Texas Tech game. I don't know exactly what the final score was. I know it went over the spread. I looked at the spread earlier in the day. I was like, God damn, it's 27.5 points. It's like, that's a lot of points. I never feel so comfortable about, and of course I don't ever wager on the games I'm doing, but I looked at that. I was like, man, that's a lot of points. I just don't know. I've never been that type of bettor, like a good one, I guess, that can take chances like that and lay that many points. But I think they did cover at the end of the day. But Clemson has a really difficult task. But if you look at those two coaching staffs there, like Clemson has a little bit of an edge there. And I think the edge comes with experience. I think Sark is an amazing coach.
Passengers on flight 5812 Cersei to Houston on United Airlines.
That's not me. By the way, if you're just joining us, I'm at an airport, right? All right. Let's start talking about that Dallas flight. We're going to shut it down here real quick. I can promise you that. I'm on standby. But odds are it doesn't look like I'll get out of here till 6:30. But when you talk about are you kidding me? By the way, Gate 2, baby. We are live from Gate 2. If you talk about Steve Sarkisian, I think you can look at, I'm going to go back on what I was just going to say because I reserve the right to. They did get that piece of experience last year going to the college football playoff. And even though they lost, right, and they would have had a different result, I think that the situational type football that you play in games that are that huge really can lend to the ultimate getting to the mountaintop or getting over, right, that last hump. I believe that that's something that we could see Sark and those guys reach back into that experience and use that in this football game against Clemson. But I feel like, first of all, good for Dabo Swinney. Oh, people pronounced him dead earlier in the year. Probably the same people. Could you hear me? Sorry, I broke wind. Just keeping it real here. There's nobody around. I promise. But that was disgusting. I shouldn't have admitted that. But Dabo Swinney, I didn't think it was going to make any noise. Dabo Swinney he was pronounced dead. I'm good. We're going to Dallas, right? But the folks that now I'm in a wrestling match with the United folks here over the loudspeaker. But to Dabo Swinney, oh man, this day couldn't get any worse, right? For Dabo Swinney, he was pronounced dead early in the season, and a lot of people looked at like, hey, he needs to get with the program. He needs to do more with the transfer portal. But hey, look, clearly he knows what he's doing, and his team is in the college football playoff. Earlier in the year, again, people had pronounced them DOA, especially after they got beat up against Georgia. But look, here they are. Here they are with an opportunity and with a coach who knows how to do this. And you're playing at Texas. That's going to be a ruckus environment. But Texas is different than going to Penn State. And I've been to both environments, and I'll tell you why. Texas is more of a carnival atmosphere than it is scary. Happy Valley is frightening. Okay. Like I believe the same for Columbus, Ohio on a Saturday night. When Tennessee goes into Columbus and you go to play at the Horseshoe, I've been there too. That is frightening. Texas isn't that scary. It's just kind of like, whoa, this is something else, right? But those places, man, they are scary to go play football. So 11.5 points, it's a lot. But I would not be surprised at all if Clemson is able to make a game of that. Again, reaching back into that experience, the same experience, hopefully, for Texas fans, right? That Steve Sarkisian and his staff and his team will reach into that experience of last year and what it's like to play in such a big game. And with the nightcap, Ohio State and Tennessee, I really don't know where to go with that. I don't know. I don't know nearly enough about either team, especially Tennessee. Have to get my buddy Madison Hawk on the line for that. But either way, again, this is like, don't get divorced. Don't break up with your girlfriend. Just kind of try to keep everything on track. If I were talking to a lot of guys out there, I would say you really want to get ahead of the game. Like I'm even myself talking about this right now, maybe earlier this week, start doing nice things for your significant other. So you can just kind of stack them up, stack up those esteemable acts, right? So the self-esteem is there. I know you're going to Houston. I mean, if you're not there by now, you're not going to get there. Trust me. I had the same problem earlier today. They were like, yeah, this is the last call for flight 5936 going to Lubbock from Dallas. You have 4 minutes. I'm like, basically, I'm a hostage at that point, right? I'm in, can I say that here? But I was in security. I was like, there's no way I'm getting out of this line in 4 minutes. And lo and behold, I didn't. But yeah, men, women, whoever loves football, just be good to your significant other, especially if they don't love football. I can remember I was dating a girl. It was the first, no. It was the fourth year of the college football playoff. It was 2018. I was dating a girl and we were just getting together. And honestly, I'm not like this like psychotic football fan that like has to have football on at all times. I don't. But at the same time, you're talking about the college football playoff. I'm going to make some time for that. And I'm going to get in front of the TV screen and I'm going to watch it as much as I possibly can. And I can remember we were going into there was a lot of bliss. And we go into this weekend, again, early in the relationship where the college football playoff had started. I remember it was Alabama and Notre Dame. It was a semifinal game they played in the year after they got, or 2 years after, maybe longer than that. I guess 6 years after they got blasted in the championship against when Alabama and Notre Dame played. And that was the beginning. I think that was a Friday night or Saturday night. And, of course, I went through the whole weekend. We were together. Oh, we're going to be together. This will be so much fun. And she was like, oh, I got to set it up so you can watch football. And boy, I watched a lot of football. And I think I heard a couple of days later that I think football is just too big a part of this relationship. Said dead serious, which at that point I should have known, right? Football is a big part of it for me. So it's one thing to be unhappy about it. It's another thing to have to be moved to a come to Jesus conversation this early in our relationship about my intake of football. This clearly is not going to work. Spoiler alert, it didn't. So anyways, I guess that'll wrap up segment 2. Again, we're working on Josh Neighbors for the last segment. We'll see if I can pull that off here from the airport. I got to charge my computer. So we'll see how that works. Oh, tomorrow we're going to be live at Slovacic's. It's official. We're going there. Ali Kaldabar is going to be there. I'm going, and it's going to be a blast. So I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow at Slovacic's. And if you don't come, you've got to watch the live stream. You've got to watch it. Okay. 1 p.m. And we do whatever we can to get on the air. I mean, I've set a standard here, by the way. This is the Gate 2 standard. We're going to call it the Gate 2 standard. I mean, who knows, right? I could be doing this from a war zone in 5 years, but whatever it takes to get the Pete Sousa show on the air, we're going to do it. And we'd like to thank the good folks at the Abilene International Airport for gifting us this entire Gate 1 and Gate 2 area to work with and to actually do this show. I cannot believe we've actually gotten 2 segments in right now, and I haven't gotten arrested yet. So we're coming back with Jordan Neighbors. No, it's Josh Neighbors. He's coming up. And if Josh is not on the show today, that means that clearly something went on travel-wise. And we will have him on later in this week because nobody knows more about the Big 12. Football and basketball is what I love talking about. And I love talking to Josh about those things. All right, we'll step aside. We'll be back. Pete Sousa Show.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Download Blogify now in the App Store. Easy Sun has been living fearlessly under the sun since 2016. Born from sailors' need for convenient sun protection, our mineral sunscreen is crafted with natural ingredients offering broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB rays. Safe for your skin and the environment, stay protected on the go with Easy Sun, your ultimate sun care solution. Visit EasySun.com today. That's EEZYSUN.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at eSIMX.com. That's ESIMX.com. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today.
Sports.
My man Josh Neighbors, the College Countdown is the show among all the other things he's got his hands in. He joins us today after, I mean, it couldn't get, you thought your day was turned upside down because you had to do this with me and you had to finish some laundry and a workout. But now, I mean, come on, top this, bro. Gate 2.
Gay too. And you're actually not in Denver. You're in Lubbock, which is the funny part.
I'm in Lubbock. Hold on, let me get your volume up a little bit so I can hear you better. Because there's a lot I want to ask you. All right, let's get going here, talking a little bit about obviously college football. But I haven't talked to you since the Bill Belichick hire. Like, what were your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think I was more down on it originally than I am now. I think when I look at the roster and how good Mac Brown was, I mean, they were consistently at 7. I did the math. 7.3 wins was what Mac Brown averaged at Carolina. So if you figure their roster is going to get better because they now have more investment, then like they should just up that. Let's just assume that Bill Belichick's the same level coach as Mac Brown. Like the roster is probably going to make them a game or two better, somewhere in that range. The big question is the Belichick coaching going to, well, is he going to get like the big the best players? Like, is he going to be able to pull what Deion's pulled at Colorado? Because I mean, Deion quite literally got the best player in the country in Travis Hunter a few years ago, got one of the best offensive linemen. And also, Shedeur Sanders is going to end up, in my opinion, being the number 1 pick. He should be the first quarterback taken.
I agree.
So if you can get that level talent, it's a different type of story. But I am concerned about his coaching level. This is a guy who had Matt Patricia calling offensive plays a couple years ago. And that was a disaster. I think everybody who watched football was like, this is going to be a disaster. And it was a total disaster. So I think that's what I'm curious about is like, he's got the itch. He's not going to be lazy. Obviously, if he took the Carolina job, he desperately wants to get back into coaching. And I think this like makes sense for a guy who wants to coach, but I mean, like the fit is just so weird and bizarre. I've got no idea if it works, but I'm trending more towards it looks like it has looked.
Well, initially, even as a college football guy, I was kind of bummed myself because I loved having him at the Patriots, just in the NFL on that big stage. And I've come off it just like you. I've sort of come off it and warmed up to it a little bit. I think there is something there. I think that buyout that he has is so manageable for an NFL team. At some point, like I'm not saying he's got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but I think there is potential for an NFL future on the horizon, possibly. But I think we will certainly, like you said, he's got the itch. He's not lazy. We're going to get the best of Bill Belichick. Other college coaching vacancies or openings you foresee that sort of strike you right now? I know, you're a West Virginia guy, right?
I'm a Virginia guy, but Virginia Tech, I got my shit on. So I'm very familiar with the Mountaineers, though.
So Rich Rod, what were your initial thoughts on that, and how do you feel about it today? It's sort of like a harken back into the old times.
Yeah.
Is it a desperation play?
No, I think so. It's funny because the retread, like we're talking about Mac Brown. So the retread idea, and Scott Frost goes to UCF. There's some questions about that, but if you think about who Rich Rodriguez is, he is the father of the modern spread offense, the modern spread option offense, at least. And I mean, you see a lot of what like Jamie Chadwell does at Liberty. I mean, that stuff is, it's option, but like the person who first brought the option to the shotgun was Rich Rodriguez. And if you look at like, it worked at West Virginia, it was working at Arizona. It didn't work at Michigan, but we saw Phil Longo go to Wisconsin. They tried the air raid. It didn't work out there. So to me, like you look at him at Jacksonville State, it worked there too. Like his offense continually works. He is still a very good coach as well. To me, this is not grasping for straws. I mean, if people looked at his record at Jacksonville State, like, Neil Brown's record at Troy was really good, as well. And he kind of moved up and, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like this guy can clearly still coach. The big key to their success at West Virginia was the caliber of athlete they had. They had an elite caliber athlete, a quarterback, running back, some guys at wide receiver as well. And they got a lot of kids from Florida. And you don't have to get Floridians, but can he recruit a certain type of player and can he persuade them to go there? Obviously, it's a bit of a different game now than before, but I mean, he was able to run that system effectively at Jacksonville State. And that was a school that made the transition from FCS to FBS, and they were still just as good as they were at the FCS level when they went to the FBS level. So I'm pretty high on that hire, to be honest. I think it's a really good hire because he knows the area, he knows the culture, and he's not declining as a head coach. I think he's adapting, which is what I want to see from an older coach.
Let's go to the SEC. It's something you're not crazy about, just following you like I do. Sam Pittman staying on board. at Arkansas. You have been on the record about saying that you just disagree with what's going on there, and it almost feels like the football program could start to experience almost a sort of like an atrophy, right? Going into a 6th year, they really haven't done much. What expand on that a little?
Yeah, I think atrophy is the right word to say, and this is Arkansas. This is not really about Arkansas. It's more about like this modern college football example of what if a school that makes a ton of money doesn't want to spend any of it, right? So like they got lucky that John Tyson wanted to get in the John Calipari business and knows Cal, and was able to make that Godfather offer to him, quite literally. You know, just the offer he couldn't refuse, and also the timing was great because Cal and Kentucky were kind of having that natural breakup. So that's how that came together. And the problem for Arkansas football is that they have no identity. Like when I ask people like, what does Arkansas do well? They don't tell me. Like I always ask,
they don't tell you anything.
Like, it's like, well, you know, like sometimes I'm like, no. What do they do well? Like game to game basis. And there's not a whole lot they can say. Like they want to run the ball, but they don't consistently run the ball. They want to be able, you know, Bobby Petrino's offense is FTS, feed the studs, get the ball in space. They want to feed the studs, but they were not able to feed the studs consistently this year. On defense, they want to get after the passer, but they didn't always get after the passer. And so this was an up and down season. And like the thing about it is, if they got to 6-6, I'd be like, yeah, hey, it's great, you know, and they got 6-6, but it's how you do it. And that's the frustrating part to me is they had, you know, a couple bye weeks and their offense looked terrible off both bye weeks against Texas and against LSU. And Sam Pittman doesn't coach either side of the ball. He hasn't gotten it. So like his job is to manage the game. He doesn't manage the game well. He's an offensive line coach by trade. They don't block anybody well. And like they're at the point though where they should make a change if they want to elevate the program. And also people aren't investing. Ole Miss is making a point of taking every good Arkansas player. Like they beat the hell out of them this year in Fayetteville. And now they're taking all the good players in the portal. I'm sure they tampered and reached out before. I don't really care about that. But like, Arkansas is just letting it happen. Like they're just like, okay, well, it's just too expensive for us. Just the same way they're like, well, firing Sam Pittman's too expensive for us. It's like, you either care about football or you don't. It's not fair. I know you're in a conference where Texas A&M fired a coach for $60 million. Is that fiscally responsible? No. But is that where you are? Yes. And that's your competition level. So like, are you in or are you out? And Arkansas, whether it's been recruiting, whether it's been firing the coach, whether it's been the talent level, they are not 6-6 is not terrible, but they have no desire to see how good the program could be by getting a good coach who inspires investment. They just don't have a desire in that. And that's the frustrating part for me.
You mentioned kind of Arkansas poaching some of
Ole Miss, Arkansas's players.
Ole Miss poaching some of our Arkansas players. Well, I was like, last night before the game, or even maybe during the game, I was flipping through my phone and I saw Nick Saban's tweet about. Did you see that about? No. So there's a kid from Alabama, I guess is a cornerback, 5-star guy. Yeah, and he's leaving school, I guess, right? For like they gave him another school who I can't remember right now.
Yeah, it's Mbakwe. I think Jalen Mbakwe is his name. Yeah.
He gave him $1 million, but he wasn't even in the portal. Like, right. And so you mentioned that, like, so it just got me thinking, like, Ole Miss kind of poaching these guys from Arkansas. Is that happening more and more? Like, guys aren't even in the portal and coaches are just going to, like, in your estimation, and I'm not saying that you have, you know, the backroom dealings on all this stuff, but like, how does that even work?
Well, I guess you would have probably whoever the lead recruiter was for the kid keep in contact, reach out to him during the season. Gotcha. But here's the thing. I forgot who was telling me yesterday. Somebody was mentioning this story on a radio show that a player got approached like after the game, like in the handshake line, like, hey, look, the coach is like, we'll be in touch. And not like a good game, you know, like we want to track your career. Like, hey, we'll be in touch. Like we've got some interest. And here's the issue is that, and this is why I think fans get frustrated. It's because think about the NFL model. So like if you're a wide receiver and I want to know how much to pay you and you're 25 and you just had a career year, you know, 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, I can go and find other guys that were in your position and I can look at what they got and I know what year they got it from. I know how much money they got guaranteed. I know how many years the contract was. I can compare multiple guys of that status and that helps inform the decision. There is no database right? I mean, even the franchise tag, for example, the franchise tag is the average of the 5 highest salaries. Well, we know the 5 highest salaries at positions. We don't know that in college. And so all of this stuff, like there's nobody to enforce tampering rules. Well, in the NBA, I think the Lakers were the latest team to get smacked with a massive, like and
that's exactly what Nick Saban was talking about, the tampering.
Right. And the thing is, the NCAA's enforcement has really been lessened because it's hard to have rules on kids if they're not employees. It's why the interconference transfer rule got squashed. It's a non-compete clause. Well, can you enforce a non-compete on a non-employee? No, you can't. It's not legal. And so all of this stuff, you need to make them employees. If you don't want them to leave places, well, make them employees and they sign multi-year contracts where they can't go places. That way, if they say, hey, I want to break this contract, well, you can't. You're in breach of contract. Right. So if that's what people want, like, that's their need to have. And, everybody's saying they need some governing of this. But like, I don't know how it steps up. I guess it's going to take the conference commissioners probably coming together and doing so. Maybe the college football playoff committee coming together and doing so. But that stuff's going to run rampant because there's no guardrails on this. Like there's nobody enforcing.
We've got to come to a conclusion soon. There's got to, and I think we will see something happen pretty soon because this is like, it's always darkest before dawn. It's pretty dark right now.
It is, yeah.
Some that's going on.
Yeah, Arkansas had a kid go into the portal, out of the portal, back into the portal, and I mean, it's just like, I don't mind kids getting paid, but like, at this point, you're just trying to extort the university, and like, it's just kind of gross.
Yeah,
to see it happen. It's like, all right, this is not like. I'm usually, once again, I'm pro player and stuff, but there's a certain point where like, okay, we need to get this thing figured out.
All right, college football playoff obviously starts in a couple of days. What, when you look at the schedule for this weekend, jumps out at you as a potential upset, surprise? You reach into that Josh Neighbors bag of tricks. What do you see there?
So when I think about the CFP this weekend, like the coaching matchups across the board, like I think for the most part, they're pretty even. I think Sark's a better coach than Dabo, like X's and O's wise, but and I have to give Dabo a lot of credit for, he hires good coordinators and does things his way. So good for him. But like the coaching matchups, for the most part are pretty easy, like pretty even, Like I think Rhett Lashley and Rhett Lashley and James Franklin's pretty even. I think Josh Heupel and Ryan Day is relatively even. I think Sark and Dabo, totally it's pretty even. I think the rosters are what will separate. But I think Indiana has got a coaching advantage over Notre Dame. Like, I think the one undisputable thing about Notre Dame is that Marcus Freeman has upped the talent level at Notre Dame significantly. Like, they are a more physical group than they have been in the past. And they were a hammer after they lost that game to NIU. I mean, they really, and he did a great job coaching. But what Kurt Cignetti did at Indiana this year was like, I don't think we talk about it enough. And I think I'm fascinated to see, is Notre Dame's group like elite level athletic, elite level good? That like Ohio State lost, yes, but like Ohio State probably has the best roster in college football.
Yeah,
like is Notre Dame that level? And because last time
run around guys,
right. And like the last time Indiana played a team like that, like they hung in there, but like they made a couple mistakes and that doomed them. Can Indiana use that coaching advantage they've had all year long and dial up enough against Notre Dame? I'm fascinated to see because I think they might be able to. And I don't know who's the better quarterback in that game. And if you have the better quarterback, you have a shot. You have a shot because I think for the most part, these quarterback matchups are relatively even. I think, across the board, they're pretty even besides Drew Aller. I think what we saw, if he's that version that we saw against Oregon.
The last question for you: Where did you cultivate this skill set you have, and where did you? No, I'm serious. Like, where did you like? Give me a little bit of your backstory because I've heard you. The first time I heard you was with 365, and then heard you talking to Paul Catalina. I'm like, this dude's good. Like, where? But I don't know too much about. No, for real. So give me a little background. Give everybody a little background.
Yeah. So I'm from Virginia, and I've always been a sports fan. And I went to the University of Missouri. Actually, it even starts before that. I went to broadcasting camps in Philadelphia for forever.
Oh, you did?
My mom's from Philly. So
where's she from?
She is from Media, Pennsylvania. So
I'm from Villanova, Radnor.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I went to broadcasting.
Unfortunately, there's a courthouse in Media that, as a kid, I was familiar with.
Really?
No more. No
yeah,
more.
so that area, and then so she started sending me to camps at Villanova, broadcasting camps. I went for years, and then I went to Missouri, which best choice I ever made was going to the University of Missouri. Did the radio broadcasting thing there. I went to Sirius XM, and I was working on their college channels, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So like 2 months into working there, I'm back. I ended up moving back home. It's calling games, doing the ESPN Plus thing, doing a podcast, working 30 hours a week for Sirius, and then found the job in Arkansas, and I moved here about 2 years ago now. But like the big thing I've learned is, as somebody who didn't play football, just really listening and observing and absorbing a lot of what other people say. And if you watch enough, you kind of stack up what you hear and what other people think with what you see. And you can kind of marry those two things. And then if and that kind of forms an opinion, and if something breaks that opinion, you have to be like, all right, well, what caused that coalescing of things, that made me think this, like if A plus B equals C, and then, D is greater than C. Well, why was D greater than C? I need to figure out why what I thought was the case was not the case. Because
it's old fashioned reporting that you.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it really is. And this is more of like, I would say it's more ocular reporting because, I always say I'm no kind of journalist at all, but just you have to observe and watch a lot of, especially football, just because the sport changes so fast, just to see, what's happening and why teams are winning and losing. But like the best piece of advice I ever got, I used to work with the guy, Gabe Eichard at Sirius, who played football in Oklahoma in the NFL. He's like, football is about blocking and tackling. And I'm like, I've never thought about it that way. And like 90% of college games are usually decided, if the team who blocks better pretty much always wins. Yeah. If teams are even, then all right, we'll have to figure out why one team won, one team lost. But like most games are defined by blocking and tackling. Like Michigan last year was the best blocking and tackling team from wire to wire. Georgia for a couple of years was the best blocking and tackling team. Alabama for years was the best blocking and tackling team. So, and that stuff, more often than not reigns true. And I always think like
they're cliches because they're true. A lot of times,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So but I appreciate the compliment. I really do. And
dude, I love hearing you whenever you're on, and I look forward to having you back. And
anytime.
I was always curious. I knew you were serious, but you got it going. So keep it going.
I appreciate that, Pete. So do you, man. So do you. In the airport, you got it going on.
I said right now, I've been doing this show, been calling games for a little bit, but I've been doing this show since July. And, most of the time it's in the studio, but sometimes you do it when you travel. So now I said today, I've set the Gate 2 standard. This is it. This is the Gate 2 standard.
You need to take a picture. Like you need to screenshot this. Screenshot the Gate 2 because it's like, are we meeting the Gate 2 standard today? Every day we're going to ask that.
All right, man. Well, Josh, I appreciate you, dude.
Appreciate you, Pete. Have a good one.
All right, dude. Take it easy. That'll do it, by the way. That was Josh. Josh Neighbors is awesome. And we're going to wrap up the Pete Sousa show. So that is it. Zach, you can take it from here. We did it. Ready? I'm going to do one more thing for everybody. We're going to wrap up like this. Are you ready?
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports.